What is up, guys? EJ here, aka Puckbond007, and welcome to the Movie Reviewers 100, this great collaboration channel on YouTube that I am proud to be a part of. So this week is Steve Buscemi week. Steve Buscemi, a very good actor, mostly known for his sort of small roles in Michael Bay, Jerry Bruckheimer films like Con Air, Armageddon, stuff like that. Um, but he's a very good actor. Alan yesterday did a great review of the TV show Boardwalk Empire, which I'm a huge fan of. I've watched uh, all three seasons so far. It's one of my favorite shows in the fall. He's just great on that show, and the whole cast is excellent. It's just a great gangster show, and he's great on it. But I want to talk about a film that's almost, well, about 12 years old now. Sort of quirky, independent teen. I don't know if it was independent, but sort of indie teen comedy from 2001, and that's Ghost World. Um, Written and directed by Terry Zwigoff. Prior to this, he made Crumb, which was sort of an indie hit in the mid '90s, which I haven't seen actually. And then after this, he went on to direct Bad Santa, one of the great Christmas comedies over the past decade with Billy Bob Thornton. And he also did Art School Confidential in 2006, a film I saw as well. It wasn't great, wasn't very memorable, but I enjoyed it for what it was. I'm actually kind of surprised he hasn't done more. I was shocked looking at his IMDb page that he hasn't done more. And the film, of course, stars Thora Birch and Scarlett Johansson. Thora Birch sort of exploded onto the scene a couple years earlier in American Beauty as the daughter in that film. And this was the first film that I remember seeing Scarlett Johansson in. It's kind of surprising Scarlett Johansson went on to a big career after this movie, and Thora Birch, I can't really think of anything major that she's done since this film. So the film stars these two. They're high school students. The film opens up at their high school graduation. They're sort of social outcasts. They're always hanging around each other. They sort of make fun of what's hip and what's cool. Thora Birch's character Enid actually has to go back to school for summer for an art class. I guess she failed an art requirement, but she has to go back to summer school to finish up her for graduation. So they just sort of hang out during the summer. They talk about moving in together, getting a apartment, and while they're looking for apartments, they sort of come across some romantic ads. There's an ad placed by a middle-aged guy saying he saw a woman, sort of a misconnection, if you like. So they call him up to play a prank on him. They set up a meeting at a fake 50s diner to meet this guy, but they're just going to sit there and watch him come in and see what happens. And the guy they play the prank on is played by Steve Buscemi. His name is Seymour, sort of a lonely middle-aged geek, a music aficionado, collector of records, very vintage, old, rare 78s of blues music and jazz music, stuff like that. So Enid sort of feels sorry for him. He sits there in his green cardigan drinking the milkshake, and after about an hour probably this supposed woman doesn't show up, obviously, and he leaves. He almost gets run off the road in his little beat up piece of shit car by a truck, and Enid, Thora Birch, feels sorry for him. So they follow him back to his apartment and sort of realize that he is basically a geek and a loser. But one day they sort of see him at this garage sale where he's sort of selling old records, and Enid likes this type of music. She asks him about old Indian music. The film actually opens with a scene, a sort of musical dance scene from Indian 60s music. which is quite interesting. So they sort of form a little bond over music and records, and they start hanging out. And this sort of drives a wedge between Enid and Rebecca. Rebecca is Scarlett Johansson's character. Um, the whole time Scarlett Johansson is working at Starbucks. She's trying to save money to get an apartment, and Thora Birch doesn't have a job, so Rebecca wants Enid to get a job so they can move in together, etc. And Thora Birch spends most of her time hanging out with Seymour. It's a sort of very quirky little comedy. Thora Birch wears all these sort of funky outfits, dyes her hair different colors throughout the movie, and it's sort of very sweet, the relationship she has with Seymour. In fact, she goes out of her way to find Seymour a woman, and in fact, the woman who the ad was originally placed for, they hook up at some point. Um, and so he starts dating this woman, and that sort of drives Enid away as well. She's sort of being left out when Seymour starts dating this woman. So Enid sort of spirals a little bit because her friendship with Rebecca is falling apart, and her new friendship with Seymour starts to fall apart as well. I also should mention some of the supporting players. Ileana Douglas plays the art teacher. Thora Birch has sort of a weird relationship with this art teacher, and Ileana Douglas is a good actress, and she plays the sort of, I don't know, sort of trippy, pretentious art teacher to a T. There's some good scenes involving the summer school art classroom and stuff. Yeah, it's a good sort of quirky comedy. Like I said, Thora Birch hasn't really gone on to do very much since this film. Scarlett Johansson, of course, went on to bigger and better things, and Steve Buscemi is very good as Seymour. There's a great scene that I sort of relate to where he says, "I can't connect people, so I collect things." And if I was doing this in behind my in front of my DVD collection, it would sort of be perfect representation of why I sort of relate to him and his character. It's a very interesting line that he says, because he collects old records, and he's got all these little vintage trinkets and stuff, old posters. There's a big deal with a poster, a very racist poster that Enid uses for one of her art projects, which causes a stir at the school and so on. But yeah, it's a cool little film. It did very well when it came out, I remember. A lot of sort of fan support, and it's a good little movie. So that is Ghost World from 2001. Sorry this video was a bit rambly in the middle. I rewatched it last night. It was probably about the third time I've seen it. I saw it when it came out. So as always, thank you for watching. Make sure you check out all the guys' reviews this week for Steve Buscemi week. And also, if you haven't, make sure you check out Scott's video from Thursday this past week, where he did a great, about 20-minute long video talking about a bunch of films that he hadn't seen, but all of which the rest of the guys on the channel had reviewed at some point. From my piece, he did Carnal Knowledge, which I did for Jack Nicholson week. Anyway, it's a great video by Scott. Just wrapped up the week perfectly, so make sure you check that out. And until next time, I'll see ya.
Bom.